One hopes that the leaders in our major national political parties understand that this is their John A. Macdonald moment, and these are the kinds of things that they have to confront. And Eby gets half a glass. Daniel Smith gets half a glass. Lesage, in Quebec, he gets half a glass. Everybody gets that because we believe this country is worth holding together. Because if it doesn't, it is a very fragile place. It is a
But
very fragile place.
I also don't want us to get incredibly hung up on regional divisions and only regional divisions, because one of the key elements
Yes.
of Breaking Point is that it's not just about Alberta versus Quebec or central Canada versus the regions. It's also about the great cleavages between millennials and Gen Xers, millennials and Gen Zs, who believe that
Nobody talks
they are.
about Gen Xers. Like,
Yeah,
John,
I know.
just stop. We are the forgotten people.
Versus older folks like us. There was a poll that Darrell's Ipsos did that shows a very large minority of people, I think it was under the age of 40, would support annexation to the United States if the terms were good enough. And that reflects not a real division among younger people, between younger people and older people, with the younger people feeling we're the first generation that's not going to get what our parents got. We're not going to be able to get a house. I don't even know what a defined benefit pension plan is. I'm not going to be able to get a secure job. None of these things are available to me, and it's and I feel angry, especially if younger men feel angry and dispossessed towards older people. And I believe that the intergenerational tensions in this country are easily as serious as the regional tensions, and need to be urgently addressed.
And so I'd like to hear from both of you on this. I think that an awful lot of people in our political class in this country dismiss both the Western separation movement, or not movement, but sentiment, because I'm not sure it is a movement yet, but there's a sentiment. And I travel a lot in Saskatchewan and Alberta, and I hear it. And I think that people in Central Canada, Eastern Canada just dismiss it. But I also believe that an awful lot of the political class dismiss what you were just talking about, John, which is the generational divide and well, it's not working for me. And, I am Gen X. We are like the forgotten generation. People even forget to even mention us, that we exist. It's boomers to millennials to Gen Z. Who are these guys in the middle? Nobody knows. But the anger and the anxiety among millennials and Gen Z over the fact that Canada did not provide what they promised, I think is very real and dismissed far too often. So which of the two is one of them greater than the other in terms of the ability to fracture the country? Because I feel like we could be at a fracture point. Mark Carney likes to talk about hinge moments. Rupture. I'm worried about, fracture and rupture more than hinge.
So it's the breaking point is not just horizontal and vertical. It's also three-dimensional, including time. And it's the recognition that both you and John have, and pointing out what you both pointed out, that this idea of the Canadian promise, this idea that one generation improves to the next generation, improves to the next generation, is something that's really lacking credibility for a lot of Canadians right now. And it's something that if Canada can't promise it, maybe another place can promise it. That becomes a bit of makes this wider than just these regional tensions that we've had, or that we're currently discussing. But they're all of a piece. They're all about talking about how this country will work and why it's to our advantage to be together as one, and that's across generations, across different identity groups, Indigenous, non-Indigenous Canadians, and people from coast to coast to coast. Why we constitute a unique species on the North American continent, and we're better this way. And that challenge of political leadership is the real question of whether or not we have anybody anywhere in this country who can really stand up and represent that and create the rallying in among our nation, among all generations, among regardless of where you come from, whether you're new Canadian or your family has been here for 250 years, or whether you're somebody from the Indigenous community or whatever. That this is something that we want to preserve. And at the moment, it's difficult to see where that's going to come from.